I don't get your thing with Nana. Why don't you just lick yourself like every other dog?
Ah, I tried.
Yo, this movie is raunchy, but it's a ton of fun and actually has a ton of heart. But this idea has been floating around in your head for 15 years or so, right?
17 years. Yeah.
17 years, here we go. What made you keep coming back to this idea to tell this story?
I think when we initially pitched it, it got sold, right? And then it was like executives leaving, coming, and then because it's a pushed idea of a rated R 2D animated comedy, it needed a lot of champions to really push it through, and sometimes I kept losing my champions. And because the original idea is based on my friends.
Yes.
Right? So I think it was more important and personal to me, right? And I just loved it, and I love that idea of it, and I didn't want to give up on it. And it was the one elevator pitch that I've ever had that could be like, it's about a dog who finds out he's going to get neutered in the morning.
Really?
And that's it. And everybody laughs. And usually you don't have that kind of a pitch. You got to explain it and all this stuff. So I had that great pitch, and I just always got a laugh from it, so I kept going with it.
This is a real hard R. I mean, this is a raunchy comedy for sure. Was there anything that you weren't able to get away with that you wanted to keep in the film?
No.
You got away with everything.
Everything, yeah. I think it was everything that we wanted to do, and it's funny, like when you say hard R, like I don't see it as a hard R.
Really?
It's funny because maybe I'm used to looking at it, but it's when you compare it to hard R in live action.
Sure.
They'll show full nudity, right? And it's real. And this is like drawn, like the butthole is just like a little asterisk. It's not a big deal, and so I think it's because we're so accustomed to looking at animation for kids.
Sure.
That's safe, that it's so shocking.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, this, not only is this hilarious and very raunchy, but it also is pretty heartfelt. It's a story about friendship. We have acceptance and identity, are big themes in this film as well.
Yeah.
Talk to me about wanting to balance and ground this outrageous comedy with those deep themes.
And it's difficult because, how do you do that? How do you go so crazy and then have something kind of heartfelt? And so I really believe in sincerity, right? And so because our characters came from a good starting point or a good point of view, we were able to do it real. And we didn't have the pressure, like in a family film, sometimes like, you need more heart, you need that big speech. And we have those, but we have them at different moments that are planned properly. And so we tried to be really real about it and not talk down to anybody. And look, whether I'm making a show for a 8-year-old or a 30-year-old, it's my same process, I just want to do something that I believe in and that's sincere, and then they'll feel like I'm not talking down to them.
Sure. We also got to address, this is not for 8-year-olds though.
It is not.
Definitely not for 8-year-olds.
No.
I heard that Kathryn Hahn actually called you and said, I want to be just as raunchy as everybody else. Is this true?
Yes, very true. Because I worked with her in Hotel Transylvania 3. We sent her the script. But when we first wrote her character, Honey, it was a little toned down. She was just kind of the girl next door. And then she called me, she said, look, I love this, but I want to be as dirty as the boys. And then she kind of gave us permission, and we rewrote her part, and she was incredible.
Look, the animation in this is gorgeous. It's beautiful. Talk to me about choosing to use 2D hand-drawn animation when we live in a world of CG.
It was always my intention to do it in 2D because that is what I love, right? And because it was going to be rated R, I knew it was going to be low budget, and now I know how to get 2D to look really good with no money. CG's harder. So during the process, it's hard to sell the movie, right? And I go, well, maybe if I took the 2D out of it and gave them CG, maybe it'll sell better, because that's what people are used to.
Sure.
So we actually did a CG model of Bull, the main character.
Really?
Yeah. And so then we started designing the balls, right? And then it's like, how many wrinkles, how many hairs? And then you're like, this is disgusting, right? It took away from the funny, and it just became ew.
Right.
It just became gross. So that kind of solidified the idea that it's got to be hand-drawn.
I love that. Now, I know that you cited inspirations from classic Disney films. I think Chuck Jones was one of the inspirations. Talk to me about some of the inspirations you used for Fix, visually.
Visually, it was really from Tex Avery and Warner Brothers, Chuck Jones, Bob Clampett, all that stuff. And it's the stuff that I know the most, and it's what inspired me to become an animator and director and everything. And so I wanted to do a movie that's contemporary but has that feel of the animation.
Sure.
And it's the animation that I know how to do the best.
Incredible.
Awesome.
Well, look, you crushed it, man. I was rolling for an hour and a half, so that was amazing. Thank you.
I love that.
I'm not dripping, am I?
That was amazing.
You're like a hero.